Hey y'all, can you hear me? Yes, no? Great, thanks. Hey Tom.
I can hear you.
There we go. I'd like to welcome everybody to our next Zoom over rules. And today we have the very great pleasure of hearing from Mark Kostek, rules editor of the NCAA rulebook. And there's a lot to discuss. If you have seen the rule book, either by downloading it or having your own copy, you'll notice that there are many pages covered in blue. And the blue indicates changes to the rule book. One section has a wholesale blue section that's in lane assignments and such for track events. Mark will cover that as we go along here. So let me turn it over to him. But before I do that, remember that we have ourselves muted. And the reason for that is to cut down on any kinds of disruptions. So please honor that. But when we ask for input or your questions, you're fully welcome at that point to unmute and ask your questions. Mark, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Scott. And
as we were talking earlier, my heart goes out, my prayers go out to our brothers and sister officials in Southern California. Oh my gosh, what an amazing uh, situation going on out there. Scott, can you? Yeah, there we go. There we go. It finally is amazing what technology works. Uh, if you remember all that last year, we had a dickens of a time getting the PowerPoint to you all, and unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. Hopefully, this year we won't have those issues. Um, as Scott mentioned, the blue highlights that are in the rule book are new rule changes. There's also, if there has been an edit, the edit is not highlighted. It's in the book, but those are not highlighted. Only rule changes are highlighted. Um, as you go about as we go through this presentation today, if you want to drop some questions in the comments or chat, or if you want to just chime in, please do so. But let's go ahead and get started. It's great to see everybody. I guess 9 pages, maybe 10 pages of officials, and so I'm honored that you all think that highly of the NCAA rules at this time. So let's go ahead and get started. And Scott, you're going to have to change the page here. So first thing that I wanted to do is bring up to your attention and the high jump and the pole vault. For all of you USATF officials, the indicator line in the high jump is nothing new. We're just bringing it into the NCAA rule book. In regards to the pole vault, it's the zero line. As you can see in item B there, in item B in the pole vault section, there was some language that I don't know how we got it in the book because it was deleted. That similar line up to 5 centimeters wide shall appear on the surface of the landing pit. Well, our area. We all know that once the pit gets hit once, that line is going to move. So it really doesn't make any sense at all. And so we want to delete that from the rule book. It is not part of the NCAA rules. One of the things that you're going to also want to look at is, and I'll bring this up later in our discussion as well, but the if you want an edited version of this book, right now there were several edits that came about, things that we just didn't catch or were deleted or excuse me, added to the rule book that were initially deleted. The NCAA track and field rules page has a link to the online version of the rule book, and it's been edited as of 11/26 of 24. And so you might want to see that as well. And so that would be something that you'd be interested in seeing. Let's go ahead to the next page, please. I'm sorry, Scott, that you're going to have to be my Vanna White here. The 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 shot put. Another thing that happened is in the outdoor shot, obviously internal movement in the implement is not allowed. That got carried over into the indoor section. Obviously, a synthetic surface shot is not going. It doesn't have the ability to be a solid item because of the fill, and as it makes impact with the concrete or whatever the landing surface is, it's going to break loose. And so that's the reason why we got rid of that. So the next page, Scott. This is in regards to the weight throw. Last year, the weight throw was a major issue for us. And so what we looked at is a couple things. First thing that we did is we made the handle similar to USATF rule, and that's 160 millimeters. Previously, it was 190 or 19 centimeters. We brought it to the 160 millimeters for the indoor implement. Obviously, all metal outdoor or metal head outdoor would be 190 millimeters, and that matches USATF rule. In regards to the harness, what the intent of the rule is to have four connecting points to the handle. Therefore, there's going to be a cross underneath the handle. Scott, if you'll change the page, please, you'll see it. See on the item on the right, the black portion, you're going to see the cross there with it fastened or sewn underneath. That is the legal implement. The reason why we did this is it tried to eliminate the bottomless implement. The reason for that is we were having to recertify the implements at the indoor national championships after every throw because the implement was lengthening out. And so to level the playing field, we implemented this new rule. Next page, please. Calibration. This has been a hot item, and I've talked with several of our weights and measures people. The rules committee, I've gotten a lot of information. The rules committee is rediscussing this. There are some things there that we wanted to, excuse me, we wanted to address. First thing is in regards to the timing equipment, the cameras and so forth. World Athletics requires a four-year recalibration. In regards to the measuring devices, we're looking at total station being recalibrated. Disto and is been an issue that we're having to discuss. And then LASM is another issue that we're discussing as well. So we're looking at how to calibrate those things. If we have a known distance, and I'm going to make it up right now, if we're in an indoor facility, we know that we have a 60-meter dash that has been surveyed by the track in people that have lined the track. We know that the distance is 60.0014 meters. We can measure against a known distance, and perhaps that would be something that we'd be able to do. In regards to weights and measures, some of you all have your own weights. You've gone through the expense of having that, and so we're just having more discussion about the whole thing. And so I'd be interested if you have any input or any thoughts or anything like that. Please email me the information that you think might be pertinent to this rule. We'd love to have as much information as we possibly can get so that we can make the best decision possible on that.
Mark's contact information will come up at the end.
Yes.
And I think it's interesting to note that the effective date for this is just about 2 years out.
Exactly. Scott, next page, please. Okay, this is in regards to personnel. There's been some terminology changes. The games committee is now called meet management. Excuse me. Meet management is responsible for all aspects of the competition. If no meet management team or staff is established, all of the responsibilities goes to the meet director. One of the things that's happening in referees out there, please make note that we are interested in the transparency of our competition, the transparency prior to the competition. That means any heat sheets or descending order lists must have the marks entered. So if you're not putting a descending order list out, then the start lists must have the performances that they're based The reason why they're based on those heats and lane assignments. If they have a descending order list, then the descending order list, if that's sufficient, then the start lists do not have to have those times or distances. But what's happening is we're trying to eliminate some of the gamesmanship that's going on, and just some favoritism. And so that's one of the things that we're trying to accomplish there. The competition manager, this term, I tried to get it to where it was the technical manager, the same language as we know in USATF and World Athletics. Competition manager is similar to the technical manager. And what's happened is over the past 2 years, we've had the competition managers in at our national indoor and outdoor championships, but we had no data to back that up in the rule book. So what we did is we added language into the rule book that gives you the ability to have it. It's not a requirement, but it's there for the ability to have that. The medical doctor and trainer. This is one that I wanted to bring this up specifically for you. This is going to be spill over to the second page. But what we've got there is that this is in regards to failure to participate. Failure to participate has always been a sore subject for me because it really was an unenforceable rule during regular competition, just open competition. And so what we've done is, and I'll bring this up later, but failure to participate now is only applicable in scored competitions. And so what happens is if an individual does not start a race, they're out of the meet. If they do not start, they're out. If they do not finish, if an individual starts and does not finish, even if the person is a hurdler, hits a hurdle and goes down and gets up and is uninjured, they must go through a two-step process for re-entry into the competition. One is immediately after the incident occurred, they must go to the trainer and be evaluated for their fitness level if they're ready to go. Then prior to the second event that they're entered in, or the second event, they must be reevaluated, and it must be noted by the medical professional there that they are eligible for re-entry into the meet. We've taken this responsibility away from the referee only because the referees aren't medicated. And so we're trying to do that and just making it uh, trying to make it a cleaner entry process. One of the things that we're doing is we're well aware of the HIPAA law, but we're also wanting to make certain that it is a public announcement that the individual is re-entered into the competition. We don't have to give any data why. They're just either are or they are not entered into the competition. Scott, the next page, please. I think this pretty much covers it, talking about all of the procedures that I just explained. The last thing I wanted to also mention to you is item D on the very bottom of this page, is that combined event competitors shall be exempt from this rule. So if indeed an individual abandons the competition in the combined events, for whatever reason, obviously the penalty is that they get 0 points for that event, the combined event, but they're eligible for open events. That's the reason. Next page, please. Automatic procedure. This should have been taken out of the book, the automatic advancement, because what happens is in the field event, in the horizontal jumps and the throws, an individual, in order for an individual to advance to a final, if they have 9 athletes or 109 athletes, they must have a legal mark in the first 3 throws, not a valid attempt, like in USATF, to where a valid attempt is a foul. In the NCAA competition, you must have a legal mark, a measured and recorded mark in order to advance to the final. That's the difference there. And this goes about the situation about earning the right to compete. And this is one of the things that we were talking about in regards to the rule that is in USATF, which allows a competition management team to advance an individual because there's a lane comes available. A lane becomes available, and the competition management team may place the next person into that slot or that lane. In the NCAA, because a lot of events are scored, the individual needs to earn the right to compete in the final. And so we're doing that in the running events. We're also going to do that in the field events. Next thing. Okay, this is the challenge. All right. We also knew this, we know this as the immediate protest or the immediate verbal protest. We've defined it a little bit more and tried to rein it in somewhat. So an individual that is allowed to make an immediate verbal protest, or what we now call it as a challenge, the only individual that's able to do that is the individual making that is making the attempt, that's on the clock, the individual that's on the clock, or the coach of that individual. Those are the only 2 people that can make or express a challenge. And the time limit is from the time they're called up and the countdown clock starts until the countdown clock starts for the next competitor. Or at the conclusion of the event, if there's not, or the flight, it's at the end of that competition going into the final, there's a finish there. So what happens? Nothing new. If we have a verbal or a challenge, the evidence of the performance is preserved. It's measured. We have a dark mark. We resolve it as quickly as we possibly can with the chief of the event and the referee. Make the decision and move on. Anything beyond that, any people that want to file a complaint other than the athlete, the current athlete, or the coach of that athlete must file a protest. Okay? And so next page, please, Scott. Protests are handled exactly the same, except for one thing, is that we are trying to expedite the competition a little bit more. And we're not dragging out the protests and the protest period. So at the end of each round or each round or each flight, at the end of each flight, the primary or the first recorder will write down the time. That's the time stamp at the conclusion of that flight. That's when the 15-minute protest period starts for that grouping of performances. We're not gonna see somebody make a protest after the finals of the long jump from a jump that happened in the first round. So we're just trying to expedite things in that regard.
So,
So,
Mark, do you mind if I read that rule, please?
yeah,
This is from so indoor rule 1. That's where definitions are given. In outdoor, it's rule 9. But in the applicable section in indoor is Rule 1, Articles 47, 48, 49, 50. Here's what it says about horizontal jumps. At the conclusion of each round of competition in the respective event, and after any existing challenges to attempts within the respective round have been resolved, the results of that round of competition in the event shall be time-stamped and designated as official results. So this indicates each round, not
right.
after each flight.
Well, that's what I meant. I meant the semantics. Round, correct.
Okay, so you've got 3 preliminary rounds. If there's a situation, I mean, when you get to the end of round 1, put a time.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. So how do you review a challenge or protest, a written protest or the challenge, the official report of a perceived rule violation by an official, an official meet video as designated by meet management prior to the meet, and you're looking at any photo timing images. So what you've got there is prior to the competition, meet management determines what is the official video. So you have, if you got the camera on the toe board, or the camera on the shot put toe board, or the takeoff board and long jump or triple jump, any of those cameras or video, as long as it's designated official, can be used. We're just not using mom and dad's video from their phone.
And how about an official's phone?
No, it's not official video.
This will be video that's provided by the timing company.
Well, it's provided by meat management, because the timing company, a lot of times in out here in the Midwest, a lot of institutions will have their own video for the long jump, triple jump, or what have you. And so they'll utilize that.
Do we have questions from people you would like to voice at this point? If so, unmute and ask.
I got one, Scott. This is Bill Bartell.
Hi, Bill.
Assuming that there's not a fee, or presuming there's not a fee for this challenge, is there some sort of concern that maybe people are going to challenge more often and actually slow things down?
We had that discussion, and right now we don't feel as if that we'll have that challenge. Obviously, the challenge can only occur if there's video review. If there's no video review, a challenge is what the officials have called. There's no challenge there to be had. So on video review, I don't think it will be um, we'll see an increase simply because in the long jump rule, in the triple jump rule, it says that if the video is available, the official shall use it. So they're going to be looking at it anyhow.
Thanks,
There's
Mark.
questions in the chat.
Hey, yeah, Mark, this is Paul Keen. And my question was, is this a change? Because I thought the procedure previously was that an immediate protest or challenge had to be followed up with a written
That's correct.
protest.
That is correct.
But now the
Yeah, we're
the rule
taking-
change
we're
is it
taking the
does
fee.
not have to be.
That's
Is that
correct.
right?
We're taking the fee away from it.
So if there is an immediate challenge, and say you're a board judge at a horizontal event, you just tell your crew chief, he contacts the ref.
Yep.
You do the normal thing with the dark mark, but that gets adjudicated without a follow-up written protest.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
those people who have left comments in the chat, just go ahead and vocalize what your comment is, please, if it's something that you feel everybody should be aware of.
Scott, it's Melita. I got a question going back to the previous topic on the you need a valid mark, not a legal attempt in field events to go to finals. So does that mean that if there's a tie for last place and none of those athletes have a valid mark, none of them go to finals, and you just take?
That is absolutely correct. They must
Okay.
earn the right to compete
Okay.
in advance. A foul is not a legal mark.
Okay. Thank you.
Mark, Paul Tropy, weights and measures out of the Pacific. I was at Reno a week or two ago, and one of our master officials, I'm sorry, I forget his name. He and his wife are a great team, but he had explained, and maybe I got this wrong, that we can have the square hole underneath the bottom, and you're saying no, it must be complete under the bottom of the ball.
Yeah,
for indoor.
Paul, what you're looking for? What you're looking for is basically an X underneath the head of the ball.
Okay.
Okay. You're looking for a sewn X under the head of the ball. It does not have to be a complete bag or anything. It just needs to be that sewn X underneath the ball. What I showed you previously, in the previous picture, you saw one that had an open bottom.
That was the left side.
Yeah, that was the left side, the yellow one. That was illegal at the time. But there's even more that go about almost to the center of the head, so it really can stretch and slide. And those are the ones that we're trying to avoid. So we went all the way just to the X. So the language in the rule book says 4 structural straps. Really, the intent of it is 4 connecting points to the swivel or to the handle. Okay, this would be two straps with 4 connecting points, obviously.
This is John Bowen, and I allowed that this was a USATF meet last week. I allowed that and told they were all high school throwers, and I told them if they were going to ever throw in NCAA that they would have to have that bottom covered up. As several weeks before that, we had people come in from NCAA meet for the first one, and they had all been told at that time that they were to use the 4 straps also. So it's in the NCAA, but not necessarily the USATF rule.
See, as I said, John, I was confused. John was my man.
Thank you.
Very good.
Are we at the end of questioning here?
I have something to say. It's Gail Barna. How are you?
Hi, Gil.
You were talking about having the time after every round. As EDM people, we've gotten into the habit of doing a test measurement after every round. Unfortunately, some of our flight coordinators aren't aware of that. There needs to be maybe some communication with flight coordinators that they need to wait maybe about 5 to 10 seconds so that we get the time down, we get the test mark done before we go on to the next round.
That, you know what, if you have an EDM, obviously you're blessed because you do have the electronic timestamp, and that is good. So yeah,
Okay.
that just needs, if there's EDM folk out there, just make certain that your recorders know that, and that would be obviously electronic, so that would be even better. So yes, agreed.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Time to sally forth.
As usual, Scott, Sydney.
Oh, Sydney.
A few issues with the electronic measuring situation. The EDMs actually get detailed reports, which is why we get them calibrated once a year. So with distos, one, they're not constantly in the same position. Even as hard as you try, you may never get it back to the same position when you're actually doing a measurement, even though you put marks on the ground, center points, etc. But when you send your equipment in for calibration, I actually get a 2-page report of everything that was measured, leveling, etc., which is quite different than anything you can ever get from a disto. Distos are not able to be calibrated at this point. So you might want to take that
That's
into
the reason,
account when
Sydney, that's the reason why we're having further discussion.
right.
Thank
That's what I was going to say. You might want to take that into account when you're having that discussion.
Send me as much information as you got out there, weights and measures people. I'm counting on you.
Hey, Sydney,
Yes.
how much does that service cost?
It varies from location. Mine is, each piece of equipment is 200. I think mine is relatively cheap, $250.
And how many pieces do you have checked?
I own two. I've gotten one done for, there are two in New York also that I get calibrated here in North Carolina.
I didn't know if you were aware or not.
Mine's in the shop right now, and mine is usually about $300. And that brings up another question: is the NCAA going to guarantee that we are reimbursed when
Pass
we're
that,
using it?
pass that through to the institution. That's where you should be receiving it.
Okay.
They're the ones that are hiring you to be responsible for that. It should not be on your request. I mean, they should be able to, you're working with the institutions.
Yeah, for the national championships, Division I usually has a timing company that has their own.
That's correct.
Division-
And they
Division
have all,
III, Division III has been paying us very, very well for it.
Mhm.
I stopped doing Division II because they were not paying us for the use of our equipment. That may have changed in the last few years.
That's interesting, Gail, that the division, we got a lot of feedback.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the positive feedback is.
There we go. The information that you just shared with me, Gail, is very interesting. I think what we
Mark,
should-
Hey,
Mark,
Scott,
let's
are
have
you able to
everybody
put everybody
please
on
make-
mute that's not
please
talking?
make
That
sure
should help
you're
with the
muted.
feedback.
Thank you.
Everybody except Mark is going to be muted.
Gail, there we go. Yeah, that information was really helpful because what I'll do is I'll talk to the 3 liaisons to make certain that everybody's taken care of equally. That should not happen from one division to the other. We're hosting national championships here, and so that should be taken care of.
Thank you. I think the issue was Gil wanted us to use the Leicas that they were providing, and we, as a group, decided that we weren't going to use them.
You know, if you've got the total station, that's what I'd be using. Anybody else?
Yeah, for our weights and measures machine, mine's about 2 years old now. Kathy De La Conta was telling me to go to California Weights and Measures, tell them that I work with high schools and JCs and that they should be able to not charge me to recalibrate my machine. That might be something people may want to look into. That's my plan, actually, to go try that out today or this year. And then I've got some mass standards that I want to make sure those are checked. The question now is, if I get my mass standards checked, do I have to have my scale checked if it matches? Good question.
I would think that if your weights are accurate, then I mean if those weights are calibrated and certified as accurate, then your scale should be just fine.
Okay, so if I do a bigger meet, will they take my word for it?
I
Or
can't
do I
say,
need some
I can't
paperwork
say yes
still?
or no on that, Paul. I can't say,
That's
however, I
okay.
would say that the situation would be that you have had your weights calibrated, which is what really you need to calibrate your scale, is to have very accurate weights, those
Yeah,
calibrated weights. So I mean that to me makes sense that it should be accepted.
that's what I'm going to go with for now. Phil may have an idea on that. He's pretty good at this stuff too.
This is Earl Edwards.
One thing that we really should do is let's move on, because I mean the weights and measures people can talk all day long on weights and measures. Perhaps what we do is we have another Zoom on weights and measures, and I'd be happy to join you on that. Because I mean we're not going to get done, Scott, if we keep going, because weights and measures is definitely a hot topic. Great. Obviously this is continuing on with the protests and so forth. So want to make certain we have the protests and the appeals taken care of. Obviously, nothing has changed. I just wanted to make certain that I brought everything into these three slides, simply because the language of the challenge has obviously been updated, and wanted to make certain you were fully aware of that. Okay, next slide. Scott, is there anybody else out there that has anything other than weights and measures out there that needs to be addressed? Great. This is in regards to video. Video, we've been using video for years, and technology has improved and improved and improved. And there was no language in our rule book that spoke anything to video. And so we just brought this language in that said video must be declared by meet management as the official meet video. This is, the official meet video review. This is what you can do. And so what's happening is the referees can't go looking for violations on the video. What happens is the video review, when available, shall be used by the referee for the sole purpose of either confirming or denying the perceived rule violation reported by the competition official. So, that's the thing, that we're not looking for other rule violations along the way. We have to act on an official's report or an umpire's report, or we act on a protest, a written protest. Those are how we render the decisions. The field video is primarily for the long jump, triple jump, because that seems to be the area where we're doing most of the video review right now, and that's specifically because of World Athletics and the how they're evaluating or officiating jumps versus what a legal jump is in long jump, triple jump versus what a legal jump is in at the NCAA level. And so what's happened there is we have video is placed in the competition site of the field event by meet management, shall be used by the competition official. It says shall be used by the competition official. I do not understand why some officials refuse to use the video review. Some officials have just refused to use it. And if that's the case, if you're out there and an official refuses to use the video review for their aid, please relieve them and move them to another area. We need to use that video review for accuracy, and it will cut down on the challenges. So it says it shall be used by the competition official assigned with the respective event, with the responsibility to confirm either a legal or foul attempt by a competitor of the respective events. A new thing that's been added is that video confirmation may be displayed for view to athletes, coaches, and spectators if approved by meet management. So what you got there is a lot of times what will happen is you'll see the video review, and they have a not the video screen that the officials look in. They're they're under the hood, if you will, but they also have another video or another screen, a larger screen that people can look at. They can certainly look at that. We can certainly display that. We're not trying to hide anything. We're just giving them the ability to see what the official is looking at and making the decision. Scott, next slide, if available, if you're there. Oh, you are there. Scott, are you there?
Sorry, I'm standing up because of cramps that I have. So there's been no change to the rule about the determining factor in horizontal jumps in the
not at all.
plant.
Not at all. And the reason for that is without video review, it's virtually impossible to see that roll. And so the NCAA official or NCAA rules committee decided that it's more of the foot placement at the plant, other than the rolling portion of the
Yeah.
And the other thing that's kind of crazy to me is, and this is just a personal opinion, is that I know that at World Athletics and at the USATF at the championship level, we have all of this technology available, but a dual meet against three clubs or I should say a triangular meet against three clubs in Dusseldorf, I don't think has the technology there. And so they're having a harder time seeing it. So just my opinion. Next page.
Question for you, Mark, before you move on.
Yep.
Can we go back to the previous slide real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Oops. There you go.
For the second paragraph, you'd indicated that we can use it to verify or to rule one specific thing, but not something else. If we see something else as a result of that protest, we can rule on that. Case in point is last year, athlete A and B in a 100-meter race, athlete A was pushing the heck out of athlete B. Athletes B, coaches filed a protest alleging interference. Well, looking at the video, yes, A was pushing B, but that's only because B was in A's lane and B finished in the wrong lane. Therefore, I was able to DQ B for being in the wrong lane, even though that didn't pertain to the protest. That's still a valid thing to do, correct?
It actually, Steve, it actually did pertain to the protest, simply because what you were doing you were evaluating the situation of what surrounded that protest. You saw the coach saw what he wanted to see, as most coaches do. And what you did is you looked previous. So you saw the second response, not the first response.
Okay. Fantastic.
So many times, in basketball, it's always the person that retaliates to the foul, the initial foul. That's the one that gets the whistle blown at.
Hey,
Cool.
Mark,
Yes.
this is Suds. Hey, real quick
Makes
on that
sense.
last part on this same slide here with the video on your section A there for displayed to athletes, coaches, and you got spectators. Are you talking just the field? Or are you talking field and track? Are you talking the whole meet or are you talking just field?
Talking specifically field, because I mean, but what you're seeing though is in the field events, you're seeing instant replay. And what's happening is people are watching at the NCAA championship or at the SEC championship. What's happening is you're seeing people are watching the ESPN feed, and they've got what happened is the ESPN wasn't giving the NCAA the same feed as what was they were showing on TV, and that caused an issue. And so what we're doing is we've Jeff Malinsky and I had a long conversation about this, and we had a meeting with ESPN and was a DV Sport, and make certain that what all the feeds that the NCAA receive, and we receive a lot, are exactly the same as what's being shown by ESPN or whoever's broadcasting. So yet to your question then is that in the running event, you can replay a running event. You can replay the finish. Now, what's happening is that camera may not be right on the finish line, similar to a finish of to a flash results or whatever, yeah, links results. You're not right on that line, but they can see it.
Mark,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I heard a Mark.
Mark.
Yeah.
So just to clarify on the field video that the official is using to determine a fair or foul jump in the horizontals, whether or not the athlete can see that same video is totally dependent on whether or not that meet management of that meet allows that athlete to see that
That
video.
is correct.
It is not universal for every meet, that some meet management may elect to not allow the athlete to see the video that the official is seeing.
Phil, what happens is in many cases, you're just not going to have the technology available.
Right.
And so if the technology is not available to broadcast it out, then the athlete can't see it. That's correct. Next slide.
Question.
Oh, excuse me.
Sorry.
Sebastian, go ahead.
Yes, on the video and allowing the athlete to see it, in this circumstance, is it only in the instance that they are making an immediate challenge, or could it be anytime they request?
No, they could see the review no matter what. I mean, they can put it up on the board no matter what. So the official is going to be looking at the video, to determine whether or not it was a foul. But if there's an immediate challenge, obviously put it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, we're moving on.
Failure to participate, one of my favorite topics. I think I've reviewed this quite a bit, but really what I wanted to bring to your attention is that this is for team scored contests. So if it's a dual meet or the conference championship or the NCAA championship, failure to participate rule is in effect. And so just be familiar with that. I want you to read that rule, specifically the referees. And what I would do is, as a referee, I would encourage you to go and speak to the medical people to make certain that they understand what their responsibilities are as well. Because they're obviously, going to need to be taught. Some of them are very, very good, some of them are not. And so it's just a matter of doing our due diligence to make certain that we've got people falling in line. Assistance. This is one area that I wanted to bring to your attention, is that in non-scored competitions, like in the Mount Sac relays or the Pepsi meet or if we have NCAA competitors in Boston or New Balance or the Drake, Texas or Penn relays. What you can use, if you have the technology available, the pacing light technology is allowable. What we did over the past 2 years, the pacing lights were available in some competitions, and we had some of our very best athletes were able to qualify for some of the Wanamaker Mile per se at the Millrose Games, and their performance would not be accepted for NCAA advancement. The rules committee felt as if this was not fair. And so they're allowing pacing light technology as well as human pacers to be in the competition. They always have allowed human pacers, but now the pacing light technology is allowed for non-scored competitions. Speaking with a number of high-end athletes, the only difference that they felt as if with the pacing lights is that it follows you all the way through to the end of the race, whereas a human drops out after, I'll say, 800 meters, 1,000 meters in a mile race indoors. So just an FYI there. Next page, please.
Mark, I have a question.
Go ahead. Hey, Monique, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Just coming from my practice.
Gotcha.
So on the previous slide, the participation, when we send them to medical, turn yours off. When we send them to medical, what is like the protocol in terms of paperwork? And the reason why I'm asking this question, if an athlete has to go to medical, has to leave an event, how is that communicated back? Is there a paper that comes from the doctor? Are there specific forms that we should be utilizing for them to return to competition? Because I've been at many meets where this was never really clear. Even at the championship.
Yeah, at the championship, they're utilizing a standardized form. Go ahead.
I'm listening.
I'm sorry, I got feedback again. Yeah, there's a standardized form that they're utilizing, Monique, and so what they're doing is that the individual is evaluated, and the medical professionals have a form that they're normally using. It may not be standardized, but it's a form. So everyone that's evaluated, they have to keep a record on it. By law, they have to keep a record of it. And so that record is kept, and another piece of paper, I'll call it, not the form, because with HIPAA law, you cannot show the information that was gathered by the medical professional on that individual. That is private information between the physician and that individual. So what they're doing is that they've been assessed. And then to re-enter, they've been assessed again. And then what needs to happen is once they've had that second assessment, now as the referee, you have the right to ask for first and second assessment.
Mhm.
And then you can say, then what'll happen is that individual, the medical professional, will let you know as a referee that the individual's been cleared. And that information is posted. XYZ athlete from Timbuktu University has been reevaluated and is eligible for further competition. That's all they need to do.
So really, you're talking about two assessments.
There has to be two assessments. One
Okay.
when the injury has occurred, and then once, if they're wanting to re-enter the competition, they have to be reassessed again. So if there's cramps, if that individual caught a cramp in their hamstring
Mhm.
and it was palpated as such, and then now that individual wants to re-enter for the 4x4, and that individual has been reassessed, and that cramp or that area of soreness has been palpated again, and it's not there. That individual has been cleared to compete. They've gotten the fluids, they got everything. That's all that they need.
Goes through the referee and then down to the chief.
Yeah.
Is
So what happens? Yeah, it goes to the referee, and then that individual's been re-entered, and what'll happen is the communication that needs to occur is the communication from the medical professional to the referee. The referee must communicate it to the data manager or the timer, whomever's handling the database, because they should be marked as, that individual's not eligible right now, and then it goes down to the clerk.
Mark, Karen Stowers, is there a time frame that has to be between the first one and the second?
No, but obviously the individual is going to have to be reassessed.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome. Next page, Scott. Thank you. Oh, shoes, we're finally there. Hey, so all y'all that are USATF certified officials are and have been at a USATF meet and should have done this last year for NCAA meets. I use the word should because it got a little blurry, but all athletes that are competing at the NCAA level are responsible to be wearing World Athletics approved shoes. Okay, so that means that we need to have a shoe control officer. That could be another clerk. My suggestion to you and is that the individuals, we're checking 5 to 10% of the field. That's in the entire field, or 5 to 10% of each event. It's easier to do 5 to 10% of the event. And off the track, once the race has occurred, you bring the winner plus one, just making it up. You check the shoes. This website here, if I click on it, if I can, and it won't let me.
Mark might be able, Scott might be able to.
Open that up if you would, please.
Can you see it now?
Oh, it doesn't open up for you? It goes to another page.
You'd have to share your screen, Scott.
Yeah, somebody has to
Um,
share.
You just
yeah,
type the
okay.
URL in, it opens up. You
Well,
can either
anyhow,
play-
there we go. It's coming up. Oh, no, it's not.
Let me just see. I got to put multiple pages. Well, no. Okay, so here we go.
Okay. That's the website. That's what we needed. No problem. Okay. So next page, please.
On your slide,
Yeah, next slide. What you can do is folks, this certcheck.worldathletics.org. This website, this is the website. You don't have to print out that book of approved shoes. Yes, it does include throwing shoes. Every shoe is available, is on the website. So what happens is in this website, all you have to do is put in the make and model of the shoe, and it will pop up whether or not it's eligible, it's legal or not. The one thing that you need to do is you just need to read whether or not it's for road racing or not. But all the shoes, all the shoe stack height now, all of them are 20 millimeters. It used to be 25 for the vault and 25 for the triple jump. Now all of them are 20 millimeters. This website is updated on a weekly basis, but it's just all the shoes that are available. So if you put in Hoka such and such, and the kid ran a four, in the 10K, or excuse me, in the 5K indoors, but they ran in a road racing shoe, that's illegal. But a Max Fly is legal because it was a sprinting, it was a distance running shoe. So it's very, very clean. It's a lot less cumbersome. And to be honest with you, I did an NCAA or the University of Nebraska meet, just their dust buster, if you will, in December. I did the shoe control officer position, and it took maybe 30 seconds per individual I checked. Maybe 30 seconds. It didn't take much time at all. The next page is this is the shoe check form that the NCAA uses. This is usually an Excel spreadsheet. And if you'd like, I couldn't get it to copy and paste as an Excel spreadsheet onto this thing. But if you'd like it, I can email it to you, just so that you have it. But it's an email spreadsheet that you have it, and it talks about that you checked John Smith from the University of A. They ran the 200 meters. They were male. They ran in Nike Max Flies, and their shoe came up as yes, it's eligible. If not, it's just a no, and that's all you need to have. And then the meet director manages this along with all of the field event sheets and lane line violations, all the violations that occur. They keep that as meet data, so that if asked for it, they are able to provide that information. Next sheet, please. Running violations. This is new this year, that one step on the line, on or over the line, is allowed. The second step, anywhere during the race on a curve, it constitutes a disqualification. That's for races in lanes as well as races not in lanes. So if an individual happens to, there's been times in the NCAA that cones are on the track. And so the umpires along on the curve need to be aware and watch what's going on. That two steps anywhere constitutes a violation and disqualification. Again, for us in the 200 and the 400 in particular, if they're running rounds, unlike World Athletics and USA Track and Field, which they carry from round to round, we do not carry it from round to round.
Mark,
So, yes.
This is John Price from Pacific Association.
Hi, John.
Early on in the chat, I put in a question with regard to this.
Yeah.
The statement has been out there that now the NCAA rule is the same as World Athletics.
No.
But there's one other difference, and that somebody else is.
Can you mute? Can people mute, please?
I'm looking and I see most everybody's muted, so I'm not too sure. Let's go ahead and carry on.
Okay, so the big question is on or over the line. USATF basically says it can't be over the line. If it's over the line, it's a DQ. NCAA says on or over. So one step over the line is not a DQ in NCAA. Is that
that is correct.
Thank you.
Yep. And we do not carry from round to round. But yes,
Great.
Absolutely, John. That's correct. Good catch.
Thank you very much.
And please correct people out there that are saying that it's the same as World Athletics. So it's not. Just not quite yet. I couldn't get the committee to get me that far, but I tried. Next slide, please. Oh, and this is talking about Rule 7 and Rule 15. This is the comment. This is the two rules that Scott made the comment of in the beginning of the evening about how there's a lot of blue. And what was happening is this whole thing has been rewritten. A lot of it is the same, but there's several things that are different in terms of the groupings in the 200 and 400 indoors and as well as outdoors. There's groupings now. There's groupings of 2 in the 200 and 400, and in the lane assignments there are individuals that can get some preferential lane assignments. And so there's quite a bit in there for you to look at. But really what the bottom line is this. In previous years, and particularly indoors, people were advancing athletes on time only. That was not allowed previously to this year. Now they're allowed to race and advance by time only, or they can race on and advance the winner plus time, and so gives them some flexibility to do what they need to do inside of their competitions. One of the things that's happening is we're getting some very, very large meets, and what we were doing last year was running qualifying rounds and then a preliminary and a final. And right now what we did is we just decided that to try to help shorten the meet, to run only 2 rounds, we would allow them to run large numbers, running the top, advancing the top 8 to a final. So it's only a 2-round event. Those were the biggest thing that was going on there. Then also in the seating in the 200s and 400s indoors, there were the top 2 individuals. So it would be if you had 16 athletes or 18 athletes, it would be 1 versus 2, 3 versus 4, 4 versus 5, 5 versus 6. Then it would go back to the 1, it'd be then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And so it's a little bit convoluted, but we felt as if this gave athletes a better opportunity to perform at a high level. This entire section 7 and section 15 came from the Coaches Association, and this has been tweaked for about 6 years before it's been advanced to this level. So kind of just an FYI. It's still not perfect. It's not perfect. There's some issues that we need to deal with that I'm talking with the Coaches Association to get some
Mark,
new.
I have a question.
Yes, absolutely, Dan.
Sorry, I can turn this off. But
No
my question is it in these 2s and 4s and I guess 3s and 5s, if you're just doing a single round, do you do it the same old way?
Yeah,
Or
in
is this
a single round, you would seed it where your top 6 or whatever you want to do, or 4 would run in the one
in the
heat.
first heat?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so standard as long as we're not doing multiple rounds.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. That
So
answers the
for
question.
instance, in the 4x4, in the 4x4 indoors, you're running the top 4 in that one.
Correct, absolutely.
If you're running it by set. Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Anything else? I think we're getting close, John, or Scott, rather.
I answered anything.
Sorry, I'm sure you've been called worse. High jump. You know, this has been my high jump and pole vault. This has been my nemesis. I actually have proof that I made this correction and it didn't get in the book. And so please use it. You see the highlighted area down below, the bold, the time in minutes for initiating attempts in the field events chart is accurate. Don't use the language. I'm going to get rid of the language. I was just going to get so use the language. I've X'd out the previous language and put in what should be done, but just use the chart and you'll be fine.
Got one, Dan? Huh?
Okay, let's everybody on mute except for Mark.
Okay, next sheet. Warm up. This is one that was brought to us as well. This is large competitions. And it was a frustration of, in particular, this came from the what event was this? It was a large competition out on the West Coast. And it was the Brian Clay actually in the high jump. And so what had happened was individuals showing up late and pulling their tape, while other individuals are trying to get the run throughs. So this is an effort for us to give the athletes a time frame in the high jump that said, you know what, please set your marks, and the last 30 minutes of the warm-up time will be reserved for run-throughs. Obviously, if indeed, something happens where during competition somebody's mark gets pulled up by another athlete running over it or something like that, obviously use common sense during that time period. But at the same, I think it's one of those things that we're just trying to make an effort where everybody has the same ability to warm up, and that's the deal. The issue is if a mark is pulled up for some unknown reason, and that athlete's still in the competition, use your common sense. If an athlete shows up after the 30 minutes, once the 30 minutes of warm-up shows up and they haven't put their mark down, that's tough on them. That's on them. Now, this is brand new. So I would encourage you to take the opportunity to teach the athletes over these next couple, 3 weeks. Teach the athletes on this because it's brand new. And you know what? If need be, hold the coach accountable. The coach needs to teach the athletes the rules of their competition in order for them to be effective and to give the athletes the confidence that they need to compete at a high level. And so if they're not teaching them the rules of their event, shame on them. That's a personal opinion. Sorry, I got off my soapbox here a little bit, but give them an opportunity, over the next few weeks in the month of, and certainly in the month of January, and maybe that first week of February. Teach them along the way if they're not following the rule, because what's going to happen is they're going to get caught at their conference championship and beyond. So just give an opportunity there. Obviously in the combined events, sometimes there's only 30 minutes between events. So obviously waive that. It's not applicable in the combined events. Next slide, please. In the high jump and pole vault, we've had this going on for a number of years, and in particular in the pole vault, the initial bar raise will be 5 centimeters in the high jump and will be 15 centimeters in the pole vault. There has been, even at the national championship, they were trying to get a 20 centimeter first bar, and for consistency purposes and the way the rule reads, we've gone ahead and the committee has felt as if 5 and 15 are the first bar raise. Then after that, you can go 5 to 3 in the high jump, and then up, up 5 to 10 in the pole vault. And obviously, if there's one competitor left, they can go up whatever they want in either the high jump or pole vault.
So, Mark, this is intended to only affect that first raising of the bar.
The first raise of the bar.
Okay, I would suggest a rewording here that raised in an increment. So you take out the plural.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yes.
I'll send that on to you.
I will. Okay. Make a note. Got it. Very good. Next slide, please. Okay. This is the online version of the NCAA rulebook. This has all of the edits. We cannot make a rule change until 2026, but anything that's edited will be entered in the rule in this updated online rule book. So if you want things most current, this is the where to go. Right now, 11/26 is the most recent one. We've had nothing that needs to be changed as of yet beyond that, but we wanted to make certain that you were aware of that. The reason why we put this online version, I've been trying to get this out for about 7 years. Finally got it done by the NCAA. But what the reason for this is that in Rule 15, there was, and what you're going to see is we missed a highlighting of a section, which caused the numbering to be faulty. And so what we did is you're going to see on this website, you're going to see a document that talks about some of the items that were adjusted and some of the numbering system that was adjusted, and that was a major error on my part, on my editing and rereading of it. So just wanted to make certain that it was corrected. Lastly, I think that that's the end of the presentation, Scott. Yep, there's my information. I think most of you have it. It's in the first few pages of the rule book. So it's right there. It's on page, put me on the spot now. It's on page 4. It's on page 4 at the bottom of the page, but my contact information there, email, call me, text me.
Mark,
I
I
try
have
to
a
be
question.
I try to be as responsive as I possibly can. Dan, do you have a question?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Will this updated online, there'll be a mark on there to tell us when it was updated so we can look to see?
Yeah, right now, you're going to see 11/26 of 24. If it's updated, that will change. That date will change.
So the date will change, so we'll know something happened.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mark, we learned on Monday that the USA Track and Field was requiring all javelin practice throws to take place on the runway this year. No pick lines. Has the NCAA addressed that? Are pick lines still permissible?
Pick lines are still permissible at the NCAA level. I think though that obviously is something that we will probably address in the next iteration of our book, to fall in line with USATF. It shouldn't be an issue there.
Well, we have gone almost an hour and a half. It's been a very instructive session. I hope that everybody feels very satisfied of the coverage. I want to thank Mark very much for all that he does. He's a very busy official, cert chair. Don't know how he does it all. It's quite remarkable.
Just try to keep up with you, Scott. I don't think you sleep.
Oh, yeah. The most recent reason there is my arthritis. Oh, man. So here's contact information. If you would like me to send you the recording or the PowerPoint, please send me a request to my email here. Do not put it in the chat, but make a request on the email. I also produce an index for the book. And Mark, it seems to me the least unwieldy way of doing that would just to have the index on the printed book, and not worry about what kinds of changes are coming down the pike on online version. Do you agree with that?
I do.
Okay, and I will have that available to send out to cert chairs. Look for that no later than, I think, a week from now. If you do not receive it from your cert chair, drop me a line and I'll make sure that I send that to you. Okay, everybody, I'm going to bid everybody a very cordial goodbye, reminding you that we do have a Zoom on NFHS rules with Julie Cochran on January 28th. Hope you can join in then. Thanks, everybody, for coming on. Take care.
Happy New Year, all.
Bye-bye.